It's always funny to me how quick people flip on a fighter. Like the second someone hits a losing streak, suddenly they're washed, they're overrated, or they were never that good to begin with. And that's just how it goes in MMA. We've seen it a million times. I mean, take Izzy for an example. The dude was on top for years. I think he had like 5 title defenses, fought killers, lost the belt, came back, knocked out Pereira to get it back. And yeah, recently he's had a rough stretch. He lost to Strickland, got clipped by DDP, and then he got slapped by Mavov. And now people are acting like he was never legit. And come on, man. That's just recency bias. And now the same thing has happened to Robert Whittaker. He's kind of in a weird spot. He lost his last 2, and he's technically like 2-3 in his last 5 fights. And people are already jumping ship. Like, he's done. I'm seeing the tweets, I'm seeing the YouTube comments, I'm seeing the Reddit posts, all saying that Rob is washed, that he should retire, that he can't hang with this new wave. Like, bro, chill. Just relax, okay? This ain't just a Rob problem, dude. It's what happens when a great fighter hits a rough patch. The sport moves fast, fans forget quick, and people love to act like they saw the fall coming a mile away. But most of y'all didn't. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Because Robert Whittaker deserves more respect than he's getting right now. So here's the thing, man. I'm not saying that Rob hasn't slipped a little. That's not what this is about. What I'm saying is people love to oversimplify things. Like he's lost, he's washed. Nah, it's not that black and white, dude. Fighters don't just fall off a cliff overnight. There's layers to this. I mean, there's injuries, the wear and tear, the mental grind, the evolution of the sport, even stuff like size disadvantage that fans don't really talk about. And when all those stack up over time, yeah, it starts to show. Some of y'all in the comments lately sound straight up like casuals. Not all of you, obviously. I've seen some solid takes too, but bro, the amount of people saying Rob should just retire or that he was never that good to begin with, that's wild. We gotta stop doing this thing where the second a guy loses a few, we just throw him in the trash. So what I want to do right now is break it down. So let's get into it. Let's start with the obvious one first. This one isn't anything too major, but it is still a factor. The wear and tear. Because people still seriously forget how much damage Robert Whittaker has taken over the years. This dude has been through straight up wars. I'm talking about broken jaws, surgeries, busted knees, infections. He's had everything short of a limb falling off. And throughout all that, he still fought the top guys, still showed up sharp, still competed at the highest level, but that damage, it doesn't just disappear, it stacks over time. I mean, he fought Yoel Romero twice and survived both. That alone takes years off your prime, okay? Then you gotta add in the 5 rounders with guys like Till and Cannonier, Adesanya, etc. It all adds up. And that recent jaw injury, you can see it. Every time he got touched in his last fight, he didn't look right. And it's not just a physical thing either. The mental toll is real. You go from being a champion to consistently having to rebuild after a setback. It kind of wears on you. You start wondering if you still got it, if your body can still hold up, if you can still push through the fire. That confidence starts to shake a little bit. Because let me tell you something, buddy. It's not about being old. Rob's only like 34. But this sport isn't just about age, it's about mileage. And Rob's got way more miles than most dudes in his age. He's been in the fire for almost a decade straight. So if he's a half step slower or if his chin doesn't hold the same, that's not being washed or anything like that. That's just the price of being in war consistently. And the other things people are sleeping on. The game is changing like fast. Like this isn't some middleweight division Rob was running through a few years ago. These new guys, they're built different. They're younger, bigger, more explosive, and they're not scared to go toe to toe with veterans. There was a time when fighting someone like Rob would make guys second guess everything. Now you got dudes like Drickus and RDR walking him down. That's not just because Rob suddenly got bad. It's because the new wave is just different. They're unorthodox, they don't fight clean, and they don't play the same technical game. They bring chaos, and when you're a vet, when the miles are on your body, dealing with that kind of energy, it could be exhausting, dude. Fighters evolve, dude. The styles shift, and sometimes the stuff that used to give you the edge just isn't enough anymore. That's what we're seeing right now. Rob's not falling off. The rest of the division is just catching up, and that gap he used to have, it's getting smaller every single fight. And here's the part that really bugs me, dude. Rob's not getting smoked by randoms, dude. He's not out here losing to unranked guys or dudes with padded records. He's losing to top tier killers. DDP, champion. RDR, surging and undefeated in the UFC. Hamza. Bro, we all know what this guy is. Undefeated, explosive, stylistic nightmare. These aren't easy matchups for anyone. And the thing is, Rob is still competitive. He just isn't dominating like he used to. People act like dropping a fight to Dricus or struggling against Hamza means you're done. Like, bro, those dudes are wrecking everyone. Losing to them doesn't mean Rob's washed. It just means that he's not bulletproof anymore. There was a time where Rob was clearly the second best in the division, the gatekeeper to the belt. That aura, it's just fading. But that doesn't mean he's fallen off a cliff. It just means he's not untouchable. And that's okay. That happens to every fighter eventually. And here's the part that people really need to understand. This isn't just about Robert Whittaker. He's not the only one that feels this shift. I mean, look around the division. The whole old guard is starting to slide. Izzy doesn't have the belt anymore. Vittori, he's been taking damage for years and been on a losing streak. And Cannonier, he's still dangerous. I'll give him that. He beat RoboCop recently. But he lost to a Mavov before and Cajo Brajalo, who's also part of that new wave. These are the guys who used to own the top 5. Now they're struggling to hold their ground. Meanwhile, you got Cajo, DDP, RDR, Hamza, all these new threats showing up with like different looks, bigger frames, and zero fear. It's just the natural cycle, bro. You stay at top long enough, someone younger, faster, and hungrier is going to catch up to you. Same thing happened in every sport. And another thing that doesn't get brought up enough is the size difference. Middleweights today are just massive, bro. And Rob, he's not like massive. He's like a former welterweight. He's never been a huge 185er. But now you got guys built like Dricus, RDR, Cajo, Hamza. They're built like light heavyweights, walking around at 205, plus cutting down to 185 like it's nothing. They're long, thick, no homo, strong, explosive, and they still got that gas tank, you know? You watch that RDR fight, and you could just see the frame difference. The RDR looked noticeably bigger, longer, and just more physical. It wasn't just the height, it was the way he filled out the cage. Elbow distance, clinch strength, top pressure, all of it. And that's the trend right now. Middleweights have evolved. They're leaner, but somehow bigger. Strength and cardio don't cancel each other out anymore. You've got 6'2", 6'3" monsters with shredded frames and free conditioning. Back when Rob first moved up, the average 185er was like 5'11", maybe 6 foot. Now it's 6'1", and climbing, okay? And it's not just height, muscle density, recovery, all of it. These new cats just filled the cage different. So when Rob's there trying to dart in and dart out with this blitz style, it's not landing the same. These guys are absorbing it, walking them down, and leaning on their size. That physical gap matters. Now, don't get it twisted. Rob is still sharp. His striking is still clean. His timing's solid. And he's got some of the best footwork in the division. But at this point in his career, we gotta be honest, his style hasn't even evolved much either. He still fights that same blitz, heavy rhythm, jab, jab, right hand, high kick, darts in and out, and when it works, it looks beautiful. But when it doesn't, there's no second layer to fall back on. He doesn't go to the body enough, doesn't chop the legs, doesn't change levels or mix in wrestling as a threat. It's mostly headhunting. And when you're fighting bigger, tougher guys who can just absorb shots and they just keep coming, that one-track striking starts to get figured out. And that's what's happening. These newer guys have just studied him to death. They've seen the setups, every bounce, every blitz combo. It's all on tape. And when you've been doing the same thing for years, at a point, you become a pattern. And patterns get eventually solved. It's not that Rob's gotten worse. It's that the rest of the division has just caught up. They're more prepared. They've built specific game plans around neutralizing that blitz. And when it gets shut down, Rob doesn't have the next gear to switch into. And look, man, just because he's hitting a rough patch doesn't mean Rob isn't dangerous. He's got too much skill, too much experience, and too much fight IQ just to fall off the map. The man still got one of the best defensive reads at 185. His movements, his angles, his ability to bait, shot, and counter, all of it is there. He's not explosive as he was 5 years ago. I would admit he did lose a little bit of speed. A little bit, not too much. But he still levels above most guys trying to break into the top 10. Like, let's not act like he's losing to scrubs. Rob's been taking on absolute savages. Hamza, Dricus, RDR, all young, big, unorthodox guys in their prime. That's a brutal stretch. You give those same opponents to the other top 10 fighters, most of them are just game finished as well. So yeah, maybe Rob's not the clear-cut 2 anymore. That aura of nobody beats Robert Whittaker except the champ, that might be fading. But he's still a major problem for 90 to 80% of the division. And if you're not elite, or if you can't handle his pace and his footwork, he's still going to style on you, dude. He's not done, but you can tell that the margin for error is getting thinner and thinner. So with all that said, the wars, the damage, the new wave of killers, I think what Rob needs right now is simple. A breather. Not a freebie, not a layup, but bro, stop throwing him in there with some savages every time, man. Give the man a fight where he can reset, rebuild some confidence. And to me, personally, I think that's Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen makes a lot of sense. Now, don't get it twisted. Allen's legit. He's got a big frame, solid grappling, and he's back in the win column. He just won against Marvin Mid-Vittori. But he's not DDP, he's not Hamza, he's not RDR, he's hittable, he's not the fastest, and his striking is pretty basic. Stylistically, Rob can work with that. Allen stands tall, doesn't move his head much, and isn't a pressure demon. Rob still has the speed, the footwork, the IQ to light him up on the feet, especially if he's fresh and not recovering from another war. And if Allen tries to clinch or wrestle, Rob still got some of the best takedown defense in the division when he's not dealing with physical monsters. This is the kind of matchup that can remind everyone that Rob still got it. He's just been stuck fighting nightmare matchups back to back. Let him catch his rhythm again. Let him breathe. I'm pretty confident that Rob Whittaker wins. I doubt he loses, and if he does, then we can start having the conversation that he's pretty washed. But that's not going to happen because Rob's going to win. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.